and welcome again to Cottage Talk. This is Cottage Talk Match Day Live. I've done one of these shows, so I thought I would try it once again. This is actually a look at Fulham starting 11 against Southampton. I will go for about 10 to 15 minutes, just share my thoughts on it. If you are watching live, feel free to share a comment. The starting 11 just came out, and there are some serious surprises in it. So I'm going to share that on my screen coming up because I'm actually fascinated by this starting 11 and exactly what this means for Fulham against Southampton. Very interesting decisions. We have a starting debut from Josh King, which is exciting. I'm all for that. But that's not the one that's actually shocking to me. It actually has to do with the situation with Emil Smith Rowe not being included at all. So what's going on there? I do not know what the situation is with Emil Smith Rowe, but let's just go through the starting 11. So you have Bern Leno, Timothy Castagna, Issa Diop, Calvin Bassey comes back in. You have Anthony Robinson. Now, this is where it also gets very interesting. I'm curious how this is all going to line up. You have Sander Berge, Tom Kearney, Josh King, Harry Wilson, Rodrigo Muniz will be starting instead of Raul Jimenez, and Alex Iwobi. Very interesting starting 11. On the bench, you've got Benda, Anderson, Cuenca, Ryan Sessegnon, Sasa Lukic, Adama Traore, Marshall Godot, Raul Jimenez, and Carlos Vinicius. So no Emil Smith Rowe whatsoever. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. But let's start with Josh King. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity for him. And I have to think that Marco feels that he's ready to start. So let's get behind him and hopefully he does well. The question will be, is he playing the number 10 role or is he playing the number 8 role? Because Tom Kearney is starting as well. So I have a feeling that Josh King will be playing that number 10 role, but we'll only have to wait in a little bit to find out if that's how it all plays out. But I want to wish Josh King all the best. I think this is a good thing that he's starting. But I'm also a little bit concerned about this starting 11, and I'll share my thoughts as we go through this. Like I said, the big thing that stands out is that Emil Smith Rowe is left out. We'll see if we get from the team or from a source, a media source, lets us know why Emil Smith Rowe is not playing. But this is a fascinating one. I know the Chelsea match is coming up, so is that a factor in this? I don't have the answers, but this is something that we're going to have to watch. Hopefully, we'll get an answer of why Emil Smith Rowe was left out. Also, why is Lukic on the bench? So that's another one. Is this a look towards Chelsea? I think it might be. I think they might be looking to try to manage minutes as Fulham are playing 2 matches in a week. And I think that is something to really look at. Also, on the starting 11, you have the combination of Diop and Bassey, which I think is good. So for me, I think it's good to go back to Calvin Bassey, and we'll see how that all works. I thought Jorge Cuenca played well, but I think you got to go with your best player. So I like the fact that Diop and Cuenca are included together. I think that's a good thing. I do like to see that Anderson is back, but Diop has done nothing wrong, so he should totally, in my opinion, start. So for me, good for Diop. Anderson's on the bench. So that's where we go on that. So I do have some comments. Let's see. This is from Emma Roach just giving me Merry Christmas, Russ. And then Diego chimes in, wow. And then what happened to ESR? And I don't have an answer for you, Diego. I really don't. Hopefully, like I said, we'll have an answer. I will be doing a show after the match. Hopefully by then we'll know exactly what has transpired here. But this is fascinating stuff with this starting 11 because I'm not exactly sure why Emil Smith Rowe is not included. Like I mentioned, I do like the fact that we do have Josh King And this tells me, like I said at the beginning, that I think Marco believes in the kid. He's giving him a shot. But I'm also going to throw this out there. Are they playing Josh King to see if he can do it in this role as a starter? Would the situation with Andreas Pereira be a factor in this? He's suspended for the match, but are Fulham considering selling him, and they're looking to see if someone like Josh King is ready to take up that position? That could be a factor in this. I don't know. Again, this is just me throwing out a theory of why Josh King is starting. I mean, I think most importantly, he's good enough to start, or he wouldn't be starting. But could we also see him starting more? Could this also be because of the Pereira situation in January coming up? I don't know. I just find this lineup completely fascinating. I have nothing against Rodrigo Muniz starting. Again, maybe this is rotation because they're playing Chelsea on Boxing Day. But I do like starting Harry Wilson on one side and Alex Iwobi on the other, because I think that's a dynamic combination. So very interesting stuff from Marco Silva. And I will end this quick show by saying this, is that I truly believe this is a gamble by Marco Silva. I think he's gambling on the starting 11. Because if this doesn't work, I think he's going to get crucified for making these decisions, for leaving Emile Smith-Rowe out, unless he's injured or ill. He was forced into it. That's one thing. We hopefully will find out on that. But a lot of these decisions are very interesting, and I'm sure that Marco will be under criticism if it doesn't work. I will say this, that he has done this before. Marco has thrown out shocking starting 11s, and I think every single time it's worked. So I will back the manager. I will give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm sure if it doesn't work, he'll be hearing about it. So let's see. This is from Stephen Murray. I love it. Marco shows he will adapt. That's actually an interesting point, Stephen. He's actually been pretty regimented in what he does, but this is a completely different look for Fulham Football Club. So is this a change for Marco? Very interesting. We will see, because again, we've talked about, can he adapt? Is this tactical? Is this looking at the opponent, Southampton, and thinking that this lineup gives him the best chance to win? I would think so, because that's what you should be looking at, but maybe there are other factors as well. That's why I find it interesting with this starting 11. So listen, I just wanted to do something really quick because I happen to see the starting 11 and fascinated by it. We will have a show after the match. So if you're watching this, please do join us shortly after the match ends for Cottage Talk full time. And I do hope you enjoyed it. And I hope it's after a massive Fulham victory, because what's interesting about this, that's why I feel that this is a little bit of a gamble with the starting 11. If you look at it, if Fulham win, there is an opportunity based on what happens with the Bournemouth match and how many goals Fulham score. But if they score enough goals, if the goal differential is enough, say if they win by 3 goals, if they really do a number on Southampton, they could catapult potentially into 6th place. So for me, this is a little bit of a gamble of Marco Silva. This is my opinion. I also think it's a look towards Chelsea. So we shall see if this all works out, but I do hope it does. Anyways, I want to thank everyone that has watched live. My name's Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk.